Namaste. I got a text. Questions. I've got a lot of questions. And I will try to get to your questions. If I don't answer them on the channel, I will try to answer them directly to you through email. But here's a question which is extremely relevant to this channel, to awakening, and to self-realization. The question is, how do I not obstruct the flow of my life? How do I not obstruct the flow? Life is a flow. Life will flow effortlessly. The only way you can realize that is by observing with detachment everything that's going on, and you will slowly come to the realization that there is a current in life that is self-sufficient, that is automatic. Like when a river flows down from the mountain, you don't need to push the river. There is a current that makes the river flow down to the ocean. So keep in mind also that the flow of the water, the substance of which the river is made of, is the same substance of which the ocean is made of. It's all water, so it's just coming and going. It's a beautiful analogy, used very often in Taoism, for what the representation is of life. It's that flow of life. So the question, how do I not obstruct that flow? The first thing to realize and to ask yourself is, look at the language. How do I not obstruct the flow of my life? Who are you talking about? Who is the my life? Who are you referring to as my life? If your immediate answer is going to your mind and giving me a bunch of concepts and thoughts, realize you were here before you had to go to your mind and articulate and verbalize those thoughts and concepts. So they cannot be you. Had they been you, they would be here the whole time. Notice that. So the question needs to be understood from the fundamental principle that you, as a personal identity, as a made-up me, as a contrived sense of being an individual separate from everything that's occurring within this organic unity consciousness, within this organic play of life, because everything is you. It's happening within you, but nothing's happening to you. This is no subject-object reality, my friends. And once you wake up to that, you'll see this is all just subject. So the question, how do I not obstruct the flow of life? By not trying to obstruct it. The more you try, the harder it is. I'll go back to the analogy of Alan Watts with muddied water, which I think is very telling. Water, let's say you go to a lake, the bed of water is made of what? Mud. If it's manipulated in any form, if a boat goes through it, if a child jumps in the water and is playing, the mud will start to move. It's dynamic, and it will cloud the water. It'll make it muddy, so the water won't be so clear. What is the quickest way to make the water clear again? Is it by trying to play with it again? Is it trying to manipulate it? Or is it just trying to leave it alone, and the mud, in its own laws, its own accord, with the entirety of the universe, that's the way it functions, will settle on its own. If you try to manipulate the water to make it settle quicker, all you will do is keep making it muddy. Same thing here. How do I not obstruct the flow of life? Stop playing with the idea you have of who you are. Start detaching by observing with detachment. Because once you start to see the mechanism, it is a program. It's a constructed program. It's a conditioning. It's all conditioning. Once you see through the conditioning, and the only way to see through the conditioning that you have been conditioned to create a little me, you sustain it through your beliefs, and by focusing on it and giving attention, you keep it alive. So the more you focus on the me and the little problems that the me has, I was this, I'm so stressed because I did this, realize you're telling yourself stories and you're believing in those stories. You are creating your own suffering. As the great sage Ramana Maharshi said, you're not experiencing suffering. You're suffering, you're experiencing. You're creating all of this. So the way to not obstruct the flow of life, step one, observe with detachment, find a quiet place. Observe who is trying to force the flow of life. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, this is not enough, I need more, I need more. Oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm too big, I'm too small, I'm not this, I'm not that. These are all narratives and stories that you are believing in and you are feeding with your focus. Your attention is one of your greatest powers. The more things you put your attention on, the more they proliferate. What you put your attention on will grow. Whatever you put your attention on grows. Realize that. That's your power. You are much more powerful than you realize. And the one who realizes it is a fabrication, unless you see through it, which you will. So sit still and observe with detachment. Find out who is the one that's saying, how do I not obstruct the flow of my life? Who's talking? Who's saying my life? Who has a life? You don't have a life. You are life. You are life with all of its fullness, which is only experienced here. You've never experienced a life outside of this moment. You've never experienced life. You've never experienced existence outside of now. Nothing else exists, only this. And this is not a form. This is not an objective reality. This is followed by a second question. I love this. Beautiful and innocent. How do I not get in my own way? So the first part of the question was, how do I not obstruct the flow of life? Well, realize you don't have a life. Realize you are life itself. You're far greater than what you think you are. You are far greater. Far, 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 far greater. You cannot even imagine how far greater you are than what you think you are. When you think you are something, you're limiting yourself to a conceptual paradigm. You're limiting yourself to thoughts. When you think about something or you try to define yourself through concepts, you limit yourself to the obtuse and abstract nature of that concept, which you can't touch. It's not tangible. Concepts are very ephemeral. They're fleeting. They don't have substance. They don't have objectivity. They're less thin than air. They're less real than air, than space. There's space around this room. Well, your thoughts are even less real than the space that's in this room. And they're only real to you. If they were real, everybody would see your thoughts. Everybody would know exactly your thoughts. Every human being, 8 billion people on this planet, if they were real, they would be able to hear all your thoughts and see all your thoughts, but they don't. It's only you. And try to explain your thoughts to people. It'll never come out exactly the same way that you want to explain. Have you noticed that? That should give you a clue that it's not really real. Second question of this text, beautiful. How do I not get in my own way? So find out. The first thing you have to do is not give this to the mind, not give this to thought, because realize giving this to thought goes back to the machine of programming and conditioning. You're putting it into the software. The software's been programmed only to think in a certain way. It's very limited. So this is from the third to fifth. This is from the mind to the heart. Open up your heart. That is intuition. Your intuition is far greater than your mind. Far greater than your mind. And once you drop that identity, which only belongs to the mind, all you have left is intuition. Follow your heart. It will guide you. It's been your guide the whole time. You've just been covering up by mind garbage. That's it. It really is. It has not served you. It has not served us. It's keeping us in a very low vibration. It's keeping us in a level of separation, which automatically induces discrimination. Separation creates discrimination. She's this gender, he's this color, he's got this much money, she's got this job, he has this car. Who cares? It's not you. None of that is you. Those people who have those things, that's not them. So, how do I not get in my own way? Realize who you're talking about. Sit still and observe who is talking about. How do I not get in my own way? Where is the one who's talking? Where is the person that you take yourself to be that is asking this question? Look for this person. Sit down, observe with detachment, and ask, who is asking the question? Who is trying to find out? Who is getting in my way? Who is getting in my way? Look for that person. try to find it. See what happens. You're always going to come back to this. You're always going to come back to the same thing, just over, but just really over and over and over again. You're always going to come back to the only thing that has ever existed, to the present moment, to awareness. There's just awareness. It has no form. It's formless. There's nothing that separates you from me right now. The only thing that separates is if you give it to your mind and you start thinking about it, then you go in a form of self-hypnosis and you're hypnotizing yourself away from the present moment. Realize that's all that's happening. This is short. Again, you have questions. I hope this helps. And this question is universal. Everybody can use this exercise. So thank you for sending me that question. I'm here to help, remember. So you can either send me questions if you want a one-on-one session for me to guide you and help you. That's what I'm here for. So have a beautiful and blessed day, and thank you again.